Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another vlog, and it might be a very short vlog, as I'm just gonna try and do some as I'm going to some library sales in the next couple of weeks, and I decided why not film in a bit of a book shopping vlog. I've never really done that because I don't really have used bookstores near me, and if I do go to Barnes and Noble, I don't do a massive haul. I'll probably get a book. Just because the book prices in the US are quite expensive, like 30 bucks for a hardback. No, thank you. So yeah, I do a lot of my book shopping at library books. It's like a treasure hunt. And it's like I find what I'm looking for sometimes, but sometimes I seek gold. I find hidden treasures really. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know how this will go, just because if you watch my vlogs, I don't film a lot of library sales, just because I always feel awkward, and yeah, and I'm not gonna do like one massive haul at the end. I'll just do it like at the end of each day, just because, or when I get home, just because I don't like piles of books sitting in random places. My books are probably random places, but it is organized chaos, my method of how I organize them. So yeah, we will see what I get, but yeah, we'll see how this goes out too. So it's the next day, and as you saw from some of my clips, I did go to that library sale. Typically, when I do that, I try not to film anyone, just because I want to. So yeah, that's why they're a bit shaky and whatnot. So yeah, but I did get 4 books today for I think it was about $8. And first book I got was Elias Emma by Ava Glass. Yeah. And this is about the secret agent who just graduated from basic trainings when she gets the call for her first major assignment, which is to transport an important asset. I'm so sorry, I'm tired of it. Who's the son of a Russian dissident across London without being spotted or killed. And when this kind of gang, London's famous Ring of Steel, hacked by the Russian government. Oh, it's the camera system, probably then, sorry. The two must cross the city without being seen by the hundreds of thousands of CCTV cameras that document every inch of the city streets. And they are forced to travel on foot and operate without phones or bank cards, which would reveal their location. So yeah, they're on one essentially. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. Next is Hacks by Thomas Old Herbert. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. But this is about this town that's been haunted by this witch, who's this 17th century woman whose mouth and eyes are sewn shut. And she walks the streets and enters homes at will. She stands next to children's beds for nights on end, and everybody knows that her eyes may never be opened, or consequences will be too terrible to bear. And the elders of this town, they have virtually quarantined the town by using high-tech surveillance to prevent their curse from spreading. And frustrated with being kept in lockdown, some teenagers decide to break their strict regulations and go viral with the hunting, and in doing so, they send the town spiraling into dark medieval practices of distant past. So yeah, that is something interesting to me. Next, the Last House on Needle Street by Katrina Ward. And this is about this guy named Ed who lives with his cat and his daughter in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. And I believe it's a new neighbor moves in next door, and she thinks he had something to do with the abduction of her sister. So yeah, I've heard really good things about this, and it seemed intriguing. So. And lastly, but certainly not least, is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I read a Simone St. James book last year. the book of code cases, and I enjoyed it a lot. I wanted to pick up more for work. This one in particular has two timelines. Vermont, 1950, when there's this place for girls whom no one wants, and 4 roommates bond over their whispered fears, their budding friendship, and all until one of them disappears mysteriously. And then we fast forward to 2014, and when we meet this journalist who can't stop revisiting the events of surrounding her older sister's death. And yeah, like the journalist discovers this hall is being restored by an anonymous benefactor, and she decides to write a story about it. And yeah, she uncovers some truths, some secrets, and so yeah, that sounded interesting. So yeah, and that's all I got for today. We shall see what I get tomorrow. So it's another day, and yeah, I wasn't good at filming these book sales because there was a lot of people, and I did get a bit overwhelmed. But yeah, I got more books. I'm on a book buying ban after this video, but first book I got at the first book sale, and I think I spent $4 for this one. Was Undoubtedly Education by Naomi Novik, which is about this school where you literally have to fight these monsters in order to graduate, and it's like a magic school. And this one girl, she doesn't have any friends, she doesn't have connections, and you kind of have to have connections in order to survive. So yeah, I'm tired. I've had a long day, so I apologize. Next is Night Calling by Leila Motley. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name, but this is it. And this is about this girl and her brother who are just trying to get by in their East Oakland apartment complex. Both of them dropped out of high school, family fractured by death in prison. Her brother is trying to be a rap star, and she's just trying to pay their rent, essentially. And keep the 9-year-old boy next door, who was abandoned by his mother, safe and fed. And one night, what begins as a drunken misunderstanding with a stranger turns into a job Clara never imagined wanting, but now desperately needs night calling. Her role breaks open even further when her name surfaces in an investigation that exposes her as a key witness in a massive scandal within the Oakland Police Department. So, yeah, that sounded intriguing to me. And lastly, from this first show, is Manhattan Beach by Jennifer Egan. This is about this girl named Anna who accompanies her father to visit this guy who's crucial to the survival of their family, and when her father disappears and the country's at war, she's working at the Brooklyn Naval Yard as the first female diver. And one evening she's at a nightclub and she meets this guy again and begins to understand the complexity of her father's life and reasons he might have vanished. So yeah, that seemed intriguing to me. So yeah, that's all of the books I picked up at the first sale. Second sale, I can't really tell you the price just because I also had to pay for 2 books for my mom, but I think for me I paid about, I want to say about $5 maybe for 4 books. First is Thread Needle by Carrie Thomas. And this is about this girl's aunt who's always warned her of the dangers of magic and its deadly consequences. She counts down the days to the ceremony that will bind her magic forever, and then she meets these 2 people and they open her eyes to a land London she never knew existed. One filled with magic shops, a secret library where the librarian reads off words and clubs where revealers lose themselves in a haze of spells. But as Anna swept deeper into this world, she begins to wonder if her aunt was right all along. So, yeah, this seemed interesting and the cover is very beautiful, so yeah. Next is White Young Women by Jessica No. And this is about this serial killer who escaped in Aspen, Colorado after he murdered these group of college kids and then a woman in Florida. I mean, it doesn't go further from the mind of a girl in Florida, so it's about this guy and this breed he's on, and yeah, it seemed interesting. I'm not really in the mood to read that whole synopsis, so yeah, and I don't plan these segments, so sorry. Next is The Woman in a Purple Skirt by Natsuko Amamura. And this is about this woman who's obsessed with this woman in a purple skirt. She's always this woman who's like the woman in the yellow cardigan. Is always watching her, and yeah, this seems interesting. And lastly, for my haul for today's In the Woods by Hannah French, which is this like mystery that takes place in Dublin. These three children leave their small Dublin neighborhood, and then hours later their mother's calls go unanswered, and then when the police arrive they find only one of the children gripping a tree trunk in terror, wearing blood-filled sneakers, unable to recall a single detail of the previous hours. And then 20 years later, the found boy who went on to become a detective, he and his partner investigate the murder of a 12-year-old girl in the same rooms, and now with only snippets of long-buried memories to guide him, he has the chance to uncover both the mystery of the case before him and that of his own past. So yeah, that does sound interesting. So yeah, so yeah, that's all for today. And it's a few days later. It's been about a week since I last updated this video, and I realized at the start of the video I was talking about, oh, I tried to film more at the sale and blah blah blah. Turns out I accidentally took a bunch of pictures, which they weren't even in the right format, so yeah. And I did try to take some video today, but the sale was much smaller. Anyway, today I only got 4 books for about $6.50, and first up is The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki. Again, I apologize if I butchered the author's name. But this is about this kid who 1 year after the death of his father begins to hear voices. And the voices belong to items in his house, a sneaker, a Christmas ornament. And he doesn't understand what these things are saying. He can only sense like a tone from them. And the problem kind of worsens or becomes louder in his head because his mother develops a hoarding problem. And at first he ignores them, then the voices follow him outside and they drive him to seek refuge in a public library where objects are well behaved and know how to whisper. He discovers this strange world and he falls in love with this street artist who uses the library as her performance space, and yeah, that seems intriguing. Next up is a thriller, which someone in the book world, I think this is a lot of people's worst fear, but it is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is about this girl. She leaves this like she reads this book, rates it 1 star, leaves not in quite negative review. The author contacts her and asks her to take it down. She's like, no. And it seems like he's following her, taunting her, like kind of like not stalking her, but trying to scare her. You know what I mean? Torment her. That's the term I think. And yeah, and she lives in this like isolated place where there's not many houses. She lives by herself with her dog, and yeah, it's, like, it seems intriguing. Next is The Devil's Flute Murders by Shiyoka Mizo. I am so sorry. But this is the same author who wrote Honjin Murders, which I believe is a popular novel. And this takes place in post-war Tokyo, inside this grand home where a noble family is in mourning, and this old viscount, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I will butcher it and I don't wanna. But he's a bloated, troubled composer. He's been found dead. And when a family gathers for a divisional to shed light on the patriarch's demise, Dev visits the house once more, and the detective is called to investigate, but before he can get to the truth, he must uncover all of this composer's most disturbing secrets while the gruesome murders continue. So, yeah, that seems intriguing to me. And lastly for today is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. My God. And this is about this guy who he's like kidnapped or knocked out, and then he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney, surrounded by these people in hazmat suits, and then he wakes up once more in a life that's not quite his own. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason, the guy, is not an ordinary college professor, but a celebrity. Oh my God, I cannot speak, I'm so sorry. Celebrated, there we are, genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. So yeah, that just seems interesting, and yeah. But yeah, that's all for today, and yeah, I have one more book sale, and I'm also going to this like a tag sale event, which I don't know if I'll get anything there, but it's always just fun to browse, so yeah. So it's a few days later, and it's the end of this video, and I'm gonna just share what I got at the final book sale of this video, which, because of a couple books, I ended up spending like $13 in total for four books. One book was quite pricey just because it was like a new release that came out like either last year or this year. But anyway, first I do want to share what I got at that tag sale, which includes this cool mug, which has this like stone on it. I want to say it's like an emerald. It's not an individual person I was selling it, but I left this card in explaining it that I lost, so I cannot share what the business was that this was bought from. So yeah, but yeah, it is fun. It was beautiful. So yeah, and I also got for 50 cents One Place, One Time by Gillian McAllister, which is about this woman who witnesses her son murder someone, and I think he's arrested. And she goes to sleep and then wakes up, and it's the previous day, and she has to try and prevent what happening, but then she goes back to sleep, and it's like the previous day, and it's like not a Groundhog Day, but it's like she keeps reliving the past, I guess. So yeah. But at that big book sale, I got 4 books, as I mentioned. The one was the pricing one was I'm Not Done With You Yet by Jessie D. Sutanto, which I think came out this year, so yeah, but this is about this writer who's struggling and she feels trapped in this underwhelming marriage. She's just scraping by to pay for equivalent Bay Area mortgage for a house that she's never wanted. And there's only ever been one person she cared about. Talia, I don't know how to pronounce that name, who was her best and only friend nearly a decade ago during their creative writing days at Oxford. And it's like, it was the only good year of this woman's life, couple stolen book, and them English air and whatnot, and one day, something happens, and the blood-soaked night that should have bound Talia to Jane forever, but instead made her lose her completely. Talia disappeared without a trace, and Jane had been unable to find her since until now. So, yeah, that seems really interesting to me. Next is Black Cake by Charmin Wilkerson, which is like these two people, after their mother dies, they receive this inheritance, which is this traditional Caribbean black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording. And in her message, their mother shares this story about a headstrong swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. And yeah. And the last two I was glad to find discussed. They were books I was trying to find. And the first one is I need to take off the library plastic stuff. I'll do that a bit later just because I'm a bit tired. But the first one is Before the Devil Breaks You and The King of Quarrels, both by Libba Ray. And these are books 3 and 4 in a Diviner series. I have read books 1 and 2. I do own them. So yeah, I was glad to see these two. But yeah. And that is all of the books I got in the past couple of weeks, so yeah, I like them in a book buying ban, but we'll see, so yeah. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below telling me what the book you bought recently was. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.